Welcome back to Wooded Lake Adventures. Today, I am back in New Jersey, actually up in the office, and I'm doing a project with our longer B1 laser. So let me show you what we got going on here. That's why I'm wearing these crazy glasses. So this is our longer B1 laser sitting in its enclosure. It's a little harder to see through the colored plastic on the front of the enclosure here, but that's supposed to help protect some of the, stray beams from the laser, that come out and protect your eyes a little. What we're doing is we have a piece of cedar in here, and we are making a tray to store our sockets. You can see right now it's engraving the label of what sockets are going to go in that tray. So it says 1/2-inch drive metric. And we can see on the bottom we have 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. And what we're doing is we're taking that piece of cedar, writing all those labels on it. Then the laser is going to cut circles for the sockets to fit in and cut out the board to the final shape. So we'll just periodically check in here and let it run along its process. So now the laser switched, it's doing the cutting phase as opposed to just technically it's called a fill, where we're filling that text. So we're doing the first circle there on the 10mm. But while it's continuing this process, we'll show you kind of what we got going on with our laser. So we built this platform for the laser to sit on. The feet are recessed in it, so the laser, is kind of held in a standard position. Then we've got a enclosure over the top that keeps the smoke and fumes contained. There's a fan on the back corner with a hose that runs out the window, where we have another fan, so it sucks all of the fumes and smoke right out the window there to vent it. Of course, since we are burning, we have a fire extinguisher mounted on the front in case there is any flame. The laser does have a flame sensor that it's supposed to auto shut off if it detects a flame, but it's nice to just have a fire extinguisher for a little extra safety. So along our enclosure here, when we come down the side, we're going to build a little bin to store some tools on the side here. We've got a tape measure, some rulers, an extra pair of our goggles for the laser itself. There are reading glasses for, checking things pretty close. Behind that, we have the air pump. When we turn on the air, it makes the burn a little smoother. It doesn't have any overburn along the sides. So we use that for most things. And then we've got everything plugged in a power strip in the back, where we can easily, flip that switch if there's any issue to quickly turn off the laser and stop, the process. There's an emergency button on the laser over here, but it's inside the enclosure, so we have to unzip the enclosure and reach in, whereas we can just hit that power strip quickly on the outside. So we're proceeding along. It's cutting our our fourth hole now out of, I believe, 10. So making good progress. The total project's going to take about 25 minutes for the process here. So this is the software we use to control our laser when we're doing, cutting, burning, engraving, whatever you want to call it. The software itself is called Lightburn, and we can design our project. Right here, we've drawn out, okay, we want a square, we want to have these circles in it, some text, and we have different layers. So our text is that top layer, the 0, 1. It's considered a fill, basically saying shade everything there on the text. So we're running that at a speed that says 100. That's 100 millimeters per second. And a power of 40, which is 40% of the total power of our laser. I don't believe it's a fully linear graph. Our laser is rated a 30-watt laser, which is really, people say anywhere from 33 to 38%, or 33 to 38 watt output for this laser. But I don't think it's, total linear that we can just multiply that out. Our next layer down in the list there is actually layer 00, which is our cut. And that will cut out the circles here, as well as our overall rectangular shape. We're running that at a slower speed so that it cuts through the wood. We're running that at 10 millimeters per second with a power of 100. And we're doing 5 passes on that to make sure it gets all the way through our wood. The last layer on our list, layer 2, is just what we call a travel pattern. It shows, if I just highlight over here, it shows that rectangle. So that way, it's running at 20 millimeters per second with just a 2% power, so very, very little power. And we'll put our workpiece in the laser, and then we run that output, and we can see where on the workpiece it's actually going to do its work. It's not, at 2% power doing any cutting, any engraving, and leaving any mark. We can see where it's going to work with the light from the laser, so we know what's going on. It's a little bit smoky in our enclosure right now from burning through the cedar. When the project's done, we usually let it stay in there for another minute or so just to get any of the residual smoke out of there. We can see we're on our second to last circle we're cutting. Once it finishes cutting the last circle, we'll do a rectangular cut around that board to the final size we want. Then what we do, we'll let it vent for about a minute or so, just get any residual smoke out. And we'll reach in and just sort of press on those circles to try and lift the board itself, maintaining the position it's in so we know if it cut all the way through. Some places, we find you got to run a little bit extra if the grain is maybe a little tighter there, or there's a knot in the way or anything. So hopefully this cuts all the way through, and we're good on our first run. I believe we're on our final pass, cutting out our rectangle. So we'll let that continue around, finish up. Once everything airs out in the enclosure, get rid of some of the smoke, we'll unzip the access door here, take it out, take a look at how we did. Hopefully everything's fully cut, and we're good to go. So the sockets will fall right through those holes. So what we're going to do, we'll have another thin little piece of wood we mount to the back. That way, it's like a tray for them to actually sit in, so we can take it out of the toolbox, move it around as needed if we're doing work, and not worry about them falling out through the open holes. So I believe that's our last pass. There might be one more pass after that. The software actually doesn't tell us what pass number it's on. It just tells us a total time that it has been running and time remaining. Which I actually haven't looked over to see how much time's remaining. So I'm guessing this is now on the final pass. Let's see if I can look over. Yeah, it's got about 30 seconds left. It's estimating. Sometimes it does go a little over time, but roughly 30 seconds remaining. So let's see as we make that final pass. Hope it's cutting all the way through. It looks like some of our circles at the end there, we can see they may have dropped down slightly, like they're fully cut. Maybe our board's not 100% flat. This is just a scrap piece of cedar we had. Alright, so we finished our passes. The laser has rehomed itself back to the origin down in this bottom left corner. We'll let everything air out, and we'll take it out, see how it looks. Alright, so this is our finished product. You can see we've got 1/2-inch drive metric, and then 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. And then if we move it around, you can see, the black along the edge where it burned the wood doing its cut with the laser. And that's our product. We can grab the sockets, put them in there, so we see how everything fits. So I grabbed another piece of wood I had sitting here from a different project, and it looks like it'll be big enough to cut a bottom layer for our socket tray. So I'm letting that cut out the shape now. And we can just put a couple dabs of glue on between the two boards, glue them together, clamp them up for a little while, and we'll have our finished tray. Now we'll make more trays for, this one's our 1/2 inch metric. We'll make one for a 1/2 inch SAE. We'll do the same for our 3/8 and probably our quarter as well. Then we'll have, trays to hold all of them. I'm not sure if we'll do any trays for the different handles or extensions, but at least it keeps the sockets somewhat organized. You can find them easier. Grab the whole tray, bring it over to a project you're working on, anything like that. So we're going to let this make the rest of its passes. I believe we have it set to 5 passes. So we'll let it run on all its passes, cut through, and show you the finished product when it's done. Alright, so here's our finished product. We've got the top layer that we made with the full holes, and then our bottom layer, just a solid piece of wood. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and mount these two together, put a little glue in between them, and then we can get our sockets all loaded up here. Once it's glued together, drop in the toolbox, and we'll have the finished socket tray. We'll make some more for our other size sockets, but that'll give us a nice easy way to store these in an organized fashion. And we get to play with the laser and have a little fun and do a little woodworking, so why not? I think that's going to be our finished product for today, so we'll close out today's video. As always, thank you for watching. Please give our video a like, please share it with your friends, please subscribe to the channel so you know when we post new videos, and leave us a comment. Thank you.